Interdisciplinary program at Tennessee State University. Of course, Dr. Duncan, we've covered many, many more items outside of the interdisciplinary program at Tennessee State University, but I think that too sort of indicates what the interdisciplinary program is all about, because it does give you an opportunity to talk about a large number of things. Let's continue our discussion in reference to students who are receiving financial resources but are unable to, in a real sense, compete and keep those resources in order to get a degree. Let's talk about it from that perspective.
Well, Dr. Haney, as I was saying in the earlier segment, you know, the reality is our students are dealing with a lot of things. They bring a lot of things from home. Many of our students, when they get their financial aid, are sending money home to try to help out with their families. You know, they're dealing with the fact that some of them come from single parent homes. They have younger siblings and they're concerned about their younger siblings. They're away from home and they were their parents' primary help, you know, with their younger siblings. So all of a sudden, you know, you've got these major family shifts and changes that have taken place, and they're here at school, supposed to be focusing on school, but still concerned about what's going on at home.
I know the feeling.
Real.
Very good.
That's real.
Good.
And unless we can acknowledge that those things that our students are dealing with are very real and put the resources in place to address those things, then we can assist them. I was talking about the First Ladies Club, and one of the reasons that I decided to do it was I saw our young women struggling. You know, not just struggling academically, but struggling with who they were as young women, and struggling with what that meant, and getting caught up in things that they didn't need to get caught up in, which distracted them from their education. So they're having boy problems, and they're all caught up in men and relationships, and they don't know how to deal with it in an effective, healthy way, and their grades suffer. And that's real. You know, they may get pregnant, and then that's another issue, and then he's dealing with the same kinds of things. You know, we have a lot of athletes, and for our athletes, we particularly have some problems because, particularly basketball team, at one point in the semester, they were going for almost 2 solid weeks. It's difficult to maintain your GPA and complete your course assignments when you're not in class like that. These are real problems. So what do? Do we just say, well, forget about them? You know, let them fall by the wayside? You know, I mean, they're at least getting their education paid for. We can't afford to do that. Many of those students, particularly the student athletes, are interdisciplinary study majors, because if they transfer from another school, most of the traditional programs won't take as many of their hours. So they end up in my program trying to figure out, what do I do with this degree? I want to get my education. I want to play sports. I want to do all of that, but I don't know what this is. You know, I just wanted to major in this, or I just wanted to major in that. And so it becomes a challenge, because they either have to give up their academic eligibility to achieve their major, or they have to shift what they're doing. And I try to show them how they can achieve both their goals. You know, shift what they're doing, but still achieve their academic goals, as well as maintaining their athletic eligibility. But it's interesting to me when we look at the lottery funds, and when we look at the opportunity to have those resources. I'll use my own son as example. My son had a scholarship, and he went off to college, and his first semester of his freshman year absolutely lost his mind. He got caught up in hanging out, partying, staying in the room, playing Xbox.
Hey, I know, I understand the feeling.
His mom is educated. She's an educator. He grew up on a college campus. So it's not like he wasn't exposed to these things. But the reality is our young people are having to make choices and decisions, and all of them aren't the best ones. So that's why it's so important that we mentor them. I believe in mentoring them. I believe in taking them under my wing. Because if I don't, I feel like then I'm just as guilty as the person who doesn't care, you know? So I feel like I have an obligation. I feel like we as faculty members have an obligation. And some people would argue that, no, we don't get paid enough for that, you know? But I feel like one of the things about teaching at Tennessee State, and one of the reasons I decided to come to Tennessee State, was that it was a historically black college, you know? And that all of the things that I heard about HBCUs was that, you know, the faculty were more involved with the students, and they could serve as role models. And even you, I hear so many wonderful things about your classes, and the students are fighting to get into Dr. Haney's classes, because you have passion, you have enthusiasm, and you convey that to them. If they don't get that first semester, they fall through the cracks. If they don't have at least one class where their attention is grabbed, and they say, wow, this is what college is like, then we lose them.
And we're losing an awful lot of them.